This is Daily Armenia, ＳիվiլNeթ's daily news digest. Here's what you need to know today. We have not done anything wrong in our relations with Russia, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has insisted. Our partners cannot point to any one thing and say, you had such and such an obligation here and you did not fulfill that obligation. We can and do show that we have fulfilled our obligations. We raise legitimate questions and expect substantial answers to those legitimate questions. Since those answers have not been given, no matter what else is said, these issues will not be resolved, he said yesterday at a ruling party session. This came on the heels of a statement the day prior from the CSTO, indicating the Russian-led military alliance considers its area of responsibility to include all territories within Armenia's established state borders, while failing to note that large sections of Armenia's borders remain undelimited, meaning legally undefined. Tensions between Armenia and Russia have escalated sharply since Azerbaijan's September 2022 attack on Armenia. While the CSTO is obligated to act when a member is attacked, it declined to do so in this case, leading Armenia to recalibrate its security strategy away in other directions. France's top diplomat has strongly rebuked Azerbaijan for taking steps that, in his view, threaten Armenia's territorial integrity. Speaking alongside his American counterpart yesterday, Foreign Minister Stéphane Séjourné confirmed his country is worried about the fact that Azerbaijan's rhetoric is getting out of hand, and we see an increasing number of fake news as well coming from Baku. He added, they tend to blame Armenia for the responsibility of an escalation, even though Armenia is probably the only one willing and trying to avoid it in this part of the world. Continuing, Séjourné said he sees much in common between Azerbaijan's position on Armenia and Russia's position on Ukraine, and called on U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to join him in paying extreme attention to this matter in the run-up to the UN Global Climate Summit in Baku in November. Azerbaijan's foreign ministry hit back today, calling Séjourné's statements another vivid example of France's efforts to create tension in the region and obstruct the peace process. It went on to accuse France of aiming to damage Azerbaijan's image on the international stage. A former Nagorno-Karabakh official who remained behind in Stepanakert after the rest of the population fled is now in Armenia. It has been confirmed by the investigative committee that Sarkis Galstyan and his wife were voluntarily transferred to Armenia last week by the International Committee of the Red Cross. Galstyan had served in the Artsakh government until recently as the deputy chief of staff at the Ministry of Education, Science, Culture, and Sports. Galstyan was detained and arrested after crossing into Armenia and has been charged with espionage, according to the investigative committee. In the days after the collapse of the Artsakh government, reports alleged that Galstyan had been appointed commandant of Stepanakert by Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev, a claim Galstyan's relatives denied. Armenia's foreign ministry has expressed deep concern over Israel's attack on the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria earlier this week. The immunity of the diplomatic mission is mandatory and should not be questioned under any circumstances. We express our sincere condolences to the victims and the injured, Armenia's diplomatic service said on X yesterday. Israel's attack on Monday, which killed 7 people including 2 senior Iranian generals, is seen as a major escalation in the region, as the war in Gaza grinds towards its 6th month. For their part, senior Iranian officials have vowed revenge, with one hardline lawmaker openly suggesting the country respond by attacking Israel's embassy in Baku. Last year, Israel accused Iran of being behind a foiled plot to attack that same embassy. Armenia has long maintained warm ties with Iran and continues to call for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And finally, the SivilNet number of the day is 35. That's because despite their strained ties, last year Russia accounted for 35% of Armenia's foreign trade. And as always, please follow SivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.